and see if he can give us some numbers to actually correlate with what Alexis has just mentioned. Hi, Ash.
Hello, mate. How's things?
Busy for the week. You know what is it about?
I certainly do, mate. Yeah, don't envy you at all. Okay, I will share screen. I think what everybody said so far, this week I completely concur and agree with. Particularly what Jules is saying about the movements in the stock market, which are fascinating in a lot of respects because it sends you a very clear message. Now, you don't really need to know why the stock market isn't going up on decent numbers, because you just have to think about if the stock market isn't going up when the numbers have been so stellar, then that's concerning. That's got to send up some kind of warning to everybody that the momentum to the upside is not going to continue off the back of these good numbers. So, as Jules says, it suggests one of a few things actually, but certainly we can assume that either people are already fully invested, or they are just not bothered about the numbers that are coming out because there's something else in the background that they are more focused on. Now, at this stage, we don't really know what that is, but there's been a few things actually recently with the stock market, and it's gone right across markets. With the crypto markets as well.
Sorry, Ash.
Yes.
Hate to interrupt. Just want to ask: are you actually sharing your screen?
I should be. Yeah. Am I not?
I'm looking at your Chrome, your edit post or something words.
What is it? Sorry.
I'm actually not looking at any charts from your side.
You're not looking at any charts. Okay, mate. No problem. Let me try this. How's that?
There we have it.
That's better. Okay, so we've got the COT report up here. Yeah, no, it could be something to do with it could be something to do with the Biden announcement about hiking up the taxes, and also the kind of global, potentially the global agreement to for everybody to fall into line on corporation tax as well. So there could be something like that going on. It could be just the movement has been priced in, and when you see the movement in the stock market, then that would appear to be quite sensible, a sensible assumption. So let's look at the dollar. Now, I want to focus on the dollar more so than any of the others, because the others will then fall into line with it. And what we've really been seeing with the dollar is this inverted head and shoulders potentially being created here. You can see that there's a possible right shoulder here. And also, when we look at the COT data down here, and just have a look at what's just been happening with the net longs and shorts. The longs aren't really coming into play. There's no signal here that we should be going long dollar. And if we look at the shorts as well, then we've got pretty much no signal that we should be going short dollar either. So that looks like it's in pause mode, which really starts to agree with what we've seen with the markets recently, where it has been fluctuating around and it's not really sure which direction to go in. But the dollar could be bottoming out. There's very little in the way of selling pressure with the COT data. That looks like it's subsided somewhat. The long positions haven't really picked up, to be fair. But when we look at the seasonal charts here with the dollar, what we see in May is quite a bullish period. So if this COT data starts to support a bullish period right the way through to around about the end of May, the start of June, then we can start being a bit more comfortable with saying, okay, maybe the dollar long is the currency to play these other ones that look weak against. And the most notable with the ones that look weak is the pound, because look at what's been happening with the pound. The COT data now, the index is down here right at the bottom, so it's hitting zero. And if we compare, what tends to happen when the index hits zero, we see a big move to the downside here. This period here was almost just a bit of unwinding, getting ready for the final push here. And we see here as well, there was a couple of weeks of downside, 3 weeks of downside there before having a little push to the upside, but then a big move down. So we are down the lower end of that. And we are, and if you consider where the price action is, it's pretty much right where it was before the last big dip. So this is suggesting some pound weakness here. The COT report is not showing us heavy pressure. What it is saying is that the net shorts are outgunning the net longs right now. So that the longs are the green lines down here, and you can see very little interest to the downside, not a huge interest to the upside. So I'd want to see that spike a bit more to give us a really clean signal. But it's the seasonals really with the pound that start to look a little bit menacing really for the pound, because this again, if we were to compare this in the opposite direction to what's happened with the dollar, this is suggesting some downside throughout June. So it's difficult to know whether the timing is there. What's going to be the driver? The UK has got relatively good control over COVID, and the numbers are good, but the flip side of that is the numbers are also very good from the United States. Now, last week Fed Chair did say that that there would be no change of policy, so it looks like the accommodation will continue. But at some point, you've got to think, well, that's going to be quite dangerous, relatively soon, to just sit on your hands when the data continues to come out and be so positive. So watch out for the data, because I suspect there's going to be some positioning. Now, remember, people will position between 12 to 18 months in advance. So if the numbers continue to be good at this particular stage, then the likelihood is people will be accumulating the dollar with the mindset that in 12 months' time it's going to be at some kind of peak. I won't focus on any of the other currencies right now, but I will tell you that the Aussie dollar also seasonally is pretty weak, and the Kiwi is atrocious. Is heading into a pretty atrocious period for itself. So watch out for the Aussie, potentially short. Watch out for the Kiwi for some potentially short. Certainly watch out for the pound short, and watch out for those dollar longs against some of those currencies as well. And we'll see where we go. And now, of course, if there's a move to the downside with the stock market, the yen is likely to do well, and the yen is also providing some pretty good COT data to suggest upside, and some seasonals that kick in and around about middle of May. So that is me, mate.
Thank you, Ash. I will always remember your words. I'm still interested in COT, just I haven't really spent the time to learn them. But I think one thing that struck out for me when you told me about COT is that COT does seem to have some sort of predictive ability. It's just that the timing is of the essence. We need to include something to actually specifically time our entry.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Yeah, I mean, it's really kind of building the picture, and significantly, I think this week with the COT data is it's not particularly extreme, and those messages don't tend to be quite as positive. But what we can do is then start to shift onto seasonals and fundamentals and say, okay, as long as the COT data doesn't suggest go in the opposite direction, then those particular currency pairs are okay to trade.